It contains everything that we know and haven't discovered yet. Absolutely everything. And we have the ability to tune into it. Imagine, for example, looking in a mirror and not seeing any reflection. It's kind of an explanation of what's happening. Consciousness will continue to grow and expand by forgetting itself and experiencing itself through our experiences. Hello and welcome to Productively Mindful. My name is ailandas.sulcas and I talk about everything mindfulness and spirituality every single week. Quite a different spot today, quite a different environment. There's no hat, so you can see my all-blinding baldness. But regardless, I hope you stay and watch this video because it's quite an interesting topic, I believe. So I wanted to share it with you all. First of all, thank you so much to everyone that joined my Discord channel. I really want to grow that as big as possible because there are some challenges that will come as a result of that channel growing. So thank you so much for everyone that joined. And as well, thank you so much for some of you booking the free 1-hour calls with me where we had some amazing chats and I helped some of you guys overcome some questions and difficulties in your mindfulness and spirituality journey. There are still some free slots left, although they're going really fast. So if you want to grab any, there's going to be a link below that you can click. And I'm also going to include it in the top right-hand corner of this video as well. So what's the topic that I want to talk about today? It is to do with consciousness. And I wanted to put into perspective how bizarre and complex consciousness is. It's not as simple as just saying that we are conscious just because we haven't passed out or something along those lines, right? When somebody passes out, you obviously say, oh my God, that person's unconscious, right? No, it's not just that. Consciousness is a very, very deep, difficult and profound phenomenon. You could even call it an entity. Consciousness has a very big flaw. That flaw comes from the fact that consciousness is infinite. If you do some research on the unified field of consciousness, which has been proven by science to exist and be the root of everything, the unified field of consciousness is essentially the field in which all matter, all physical matter, everything that we experience, hear, feel, see, touch, smell, taste, exists. Everything is made out of particles. Particles can be described in two ways. One can be in a circular kind of object, and the other one is a wave function, meaning everything in existence waves. And all of those waves are on one unified field. They wave on that field, which is called the unified field of consciousness. Meaning if that field consists of everything that exists in this universe, maybe even beyond, we don't know that means that field is infinite. It contains everything that we know and haven't discovered yet. Absolutely everything. And we have the ability to tune into it. But the problem with that field is, if it is infinite, how can it know itself if it doesn't have anything to compare itself to? Imagine, for example, looking in a mirror and not seeing any reflection. It's kind of an explanation of what's happening. But consciousness has no equal. Consciousness has nothing to compare itself to. So, what happens then if you have nothing to compare yourself to, but you have the power to create everything that exists, everything that hasn't existed yet but will exist, absolutely everything in this universe? Well, you start creating a reality that allows you to experience yourself. Consciousness creates objects, emotions, events, experiences through a very, very, very complex dance of physics. Because it is everything, because it is infinite, it is the basis of creation of everything that exists. So it determines how neatly your clothes will be folded, because the particles within you will be folding the clothing. The particles within your mind will be thinking of how the clothing will be folded. The particles within the washing machine and the water within it will determine on how the clothes got washed. The particles within an iron will determine how straight the clothes will be. Everything is determined by consciousness. So that is one thing that consciousness does. It creates all these events, emotions, experiences for itself. How does it create it for itself? Well, we are concentrations and peaks within the field of consciousness. We are conscious beings experiencing those experiences, events, and emotions in life. By experiencing those things, we allow consciousness to grow, to experience itself. But so you might ask, how can it experience itself if it knows that it is infinite? It has nothing to compare itself to. That's a very good question. So what does consciousness have to do? It needs to forget. It needs to forget what it is. It needs to forget how powerful it is, how all-encompassing it is, how rooted it is in existence overall. We use the word consciousness mostly for the fact that someone is awake. Perhaps you could argue that if someone's asleep, they're not conscious. We also, like I said before, say someone's unconscious when they pass out. Perhaps somebody that's been put under anesthesia as well as unconscious. But we don't really talk about consciousness in the sense that we experience life consciously. So consciousness needs to forget what it is to be able to experience everything. Therefore, we live our lives unconsciously to be able to experience those experiences on behalf of consciousness. Most of us do it because we don't even know that there is something much deeper within us, that there is a way to achieve a frequency within ourselves that will match that of the unified field of consciousness. You can, so to say, quantum shift and achieve that frequency and become part of the universe, become part of everything. That's why enlightenment makes you feel like you are everything and everything is you, which is the undeniable truth. Even when you look at physics, everything is made out of the same thing when you drill down deep into the core of things. And it's an undeniable truth. But science doesn't say how we can achieve unity with where we come from. So how can you achieve unity with that all-encompassing truth, the unified field of consciousness? I am very far from doing that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm still practicing on a daily basis, and I keep getting better and better. I keep getting glimpses of the truth, of the all-encompassing field of unity and consciousness and pure happiness and joy. The goal is to be there 24/7, because then you are one with everything. You experience life in its truest form. But in order to achieve that state, you need to practice mindfulness and spirituality. There is no other way. Unless you are inherently good at not holding on to emotions, being non-judgmental, accepting everything that happens as it happens, not saying that you are somebody, that you are this structure of flesh and bone, that you are this mind. You are beyond that. The consciousness within you is beyond that. Practicing mindfulness and spirituality allows you to understand that. You will learn how to be non-judgmental. You will learn how to accept. You will learn how to be present within the moment, the only time that exists. Future doesn't exist, the past doesn't exist. There is no time flow. Time flow is only useful as a tool for us to be able to schedule things, plan things, measure things. The only time that exists is this exact moment. Accepting change, accepting experience, accepting events, accepting emotions. I don't know why I'm struggling with that word, acceptance, but accepting everything as it unfolds, as the absolute truth of the reality that we live in, will allow you to get closer to that field of pure consciousness, pure awareness, pure everything, pure reality. Practicing those practices will allow you to tune your frequency, so to say, on a cellular level to the one of the universe. For some of you that have practiced things like meditation for a longer period of time, you will know that when you get to those deeper states, there's a feeling within you that allows you to sense that your whole body is full of energy. It's as if you're connecting to a limitless source of energy, which is a glimpse of that field. Because if that field is all-encompassing, if that field is everything, absolutely everything, that means it has all of the energy that exists. And if you can tune into that field, even just for a slightest moment, even just to a small sliver of that field, you will get overwhelmingly powerful senses of energy flowing through you. You can essentially have limitless energy if you can stay tuned into that field. So in a nutshell, we are almost like victims of consciousness, because consciousness has created us in a way that we are not aware of the profound power of consciousness, so it can fully and truly experience life through our experiences, our events, and our emotions. And that way, it expands itself even more. It creates even more of itself. But all of that can happen while you being tuned into that field. We lost connection to it. Look at our pets. They experience everything. They have events, they have emotions, they have all kinds of experiences, but they are always in the present moment. If you annoy a pet, for example, a cat, it might go into kill mode and start attacking and scratching you, but then within the next 10-15 seconds, it might shake it off, and that's it. It's back to normal. It might start booping you with your head and start purring and everything, just because it's in the present moment. It doesn't hold on to things. It accepts them as they are, lets them be as they are. Living life the way we live life is not living life to its fullest. Regardless of what path we take, be it spiritual and mindful or just a normal cookie cutter life that most of us live, consciousness will continue to grow and expand by forgetting itself and experiencing itself through our experiences, our events, our emotions. And it's going to keep expanding in perpetuity, forever and ever. But you can tune into that field of consciousness as you're helping it grow. And when you tune into it and it's growing, you will grow as well. Once you tune into that field will provide you with everything that you ever needed, that you will need or need now. You will get limitless support. Anything that you are missing will get provided. Life will become a lot easier. You will be a lot happier and a lot more fulfilled. It's quite an interesting topic. I've heard about that while I was just doing some research on what I wanted to talk about. And I thought it was quite interesting, so I wanted to touch upon it. I hope you guys find it useful. And as always, let me know in the comments what else you would like me to cover. I have a video in the works that me and my wife will do, and I want her to talk about what mindfulness and spirituality has done for her as somebody that's suffering with one of the most complex mental health issues. I want to do it sort of like in an interview style, in a nice outside foresty perhaps environment if we can find one. And yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to hear about that part of things from somebody that really has to battle themselves in their head. If that video does well, I might actually make it into a tiny series and see if I can get more people to talk about their experiences when it comes to mindfulness and spirituality in a difficult scenario, I guess. But as always, thank you so much for watching. All my links are going to be below the video. If you want to join my Discord channel, if we can make that grow as big as possible, I'm going to do a very interesting challenge with the purpose of raising funds and donating it to a certain charity. If any of you want to book a call with me for an hour, which is completely free, just have a chat with me about spirituality and mindfulness, and then perhaps if you deem necessary, you can work further with me. The link is going to be below. If you click on the link tree, the booking link is going to be there. Otherwise, like, share, comment. I respond to all comments at the moment because it all died down, but I appreciate the growth and the ability to talk to you guys on a weekly basis, actually on a daily basis now, because I'm literally talking to somebody every single day on that free 1 hour call. So it's absolutely incredible just meeting all of you guys. But this has been ailandas.sulcas from Productively Mindful. I love you all, and I'll speak to you next week. Goodbye.